Hello guys, this is Reza and welcome to our Python tutorials. In this tutorial we're going to talk about another data structure called dictionaries. We have already talked about lists and tuples. You can watch those videos if you've got any questions about them. And today we're going to talk about dictionaries. But what are dictionaries? As you know, in a dictionary you check up a word and then it gives you the meaning of that word together with some examples and so on depending on the dictionary. But dictionaries as data structures work the same way. As you remember, if you had a list, for example days, and then you wanted to store the days of the week in that list, you had to write something like, for example, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and so on. In this way you could write the days of the week inside a list and then you could access them using their indices. But what are the indices? As you remember, this one is index 0, this one is index 1, and the last one is index 2, and so on. But what if we wanted to access the data using a keyword? To be more precise, let's consider a street. There are some stores and houses on the street. There are two ways to address these houses and stores. The first way is to call the numbers. For example, Main Street number 5, Main Street number 6, Main Street number 7. And we know that usually the streets start with number 1 or 100 or whatever, and then the numbers increment, and then you can access the streets by their numbers. But maybe you don't want to access these stores and houses by their numbers. You want to access them by their owners. For example, I want to see where John's shoe store is on Main Street. Or I want to see where Mrs. Brown lives on Main Street. You are now accessing them by the key, not by their numbers. Of course, the key can be their number, and the key can be their name. The key can be any criteria that you determine for your data structure. But how can we access items inside a collection using a key, not the index? Let's create a simple dictionary. For example, we have a dictionary called days. As you remember, the syntax for writing lists was brackets. For the tuples, it was parentheses. For the dictionaries, it is curly brackets. And then inside this, we will have a set of key values, key and then value. The syntax is very important, key and value. What is our key? For example, we want to keep the abbreviation of every day of the week as the keyword. For example, sun as Sunday, comma, mon as Monday, comma, and so on. In order to save time, I have already prepared this list. Let me just copy and paste this list. And then I'm sure that I have to separate them by commas, and the last one of course doesn't need a comma. So if you want to access Sunday, you know that Sunday will be accessed by sun as a key. Now we have determined the dictionary for which the items are not going to be accessed using their indices. They're going to be accessed using their keys. How can we access the items inside a dictionary? Imagine that you want to print an item. You will write print days of and then the key, for example mon. We want to access in days dictionary the value with the key mon. Let's see the results. You will have Monday as the result. If you wanted to see this one, you could have the same story. There is also another way to access values, and that is by using the get function. And of course, for the functions, you know that we use parentheses, not brackets. So days that get, and then you pass the key, and it will return the value for you. So we'll have the same results. As you can see, Thursday. Also for this one. But for both cases, if we misspell the key, or if the key doesn't exist here, what happens? It gives you none. But maybe we don't want this none to be printed. If the key doesn't exist, we don't want none to be printed. We want a message to be printed. That is what we can do using get function. We can give a default value. For example, we can say the key doesn't exist. This is the default value we can pass as the second input parameter to get function. Now, if we try fry, it will give us Friday. But if we misspell this, the key doesn't exist. Now it doesn't give us none, it prints us the error that we have determined for the application. Something else which is very important in the dictionaries is that the key can be whatever you like. It shouldn't be only the strings, it can be numbers. You can, for this one, you can say the key is 100. For Monday, you can say it is 101. Also here 102, and so on. Now, if you want to access Friday, everything is okay, and you will get Friday. If you want to access Monday, you need to write the proper key for that. But it is always suggested to keep the keys the same data type. If we change the data type, it is very difficult to access the data inside your dictionary. You will get confused while writing the code. So please try to keep the same philosophy behind determining keys for the elements. For example, you can keep numbers, or we can keep the same strings or whatever, but the philosophy needs to be the same. So the difference between dictionaries and tuples and lists was that the items inside tuples and lists could be accessed using the index, but in dictionaries we set a key for accessing an item inside the collection. I hope you have enjoyed this course. If you have got any questions, please use the comments below. I will answer your questions as soon as possible. If you like this video, please give us thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to encourage us to create more videos. Have fun and don't forget to practice.